Good afternoon, my dear students, and welcome once again to our class in law-related studies. So, in the previous meeting or in the previous lesson that I uploaded in the YouTube, we talked about the students' right to stay in school. So, just to make things clear, when we speak about the right to stay in school, it means that the moment a student enrolled in the first year college, then it is his right or her right to enroll every semester until he finishes his college and obtain the desired degree. So that is an agreement between the school and the student. The school will allow the student to finish and obtain his desired degree. And so we remembered that there are 5 bases when this right to stay of the student can be forfeited. So kung magsulti taw maghisko tag forfeiture or forfeited, but pasabot mawad-an og bisa, mawad-an og gahom ang maong katungod. Okay? So I hope you will remember all the 5 bases when a student may forfeit his or her right to stay in school. Do you have any questions so far? I hope everything is crystal clear. Okay, so this afternoon, we will talk about another right of a student that can be exercised inside the school campus. And this is the right to participate in any organization. Okay, so a student, as a social being, it is his right to participate and be a member of any organization. And the school is also mandated to recognize these organizations. Why? Because the organization is an instrument or a tool wherein the student will be able to develop the skills that may not be developed inside the classroom. No? Because it is the organization that will provide the students with the extracurricular activities. It is where that the student will hone his personality or his being as a member of an organization, no, or leadership, because he is one of the officers of the organization. So the organization is one important event or dimension of a student life. Hence, according to the law, the school is mandated to recognize, and when we say recognize, allows any organization to operate inside the school campus and let the students be part of this organization and allows them to conduct their activities as an organization. But there are important points to consider when we speak about organization, because these points are the basis when an organization may be allowed by the school to operate inside the campus. Okay, so there are 4 points that will be considered in regard to the school's acknowledgement and recognition of an organization. The first point is, an organization may not be acknowledged and allowed by the school to operate in the campus if that organization poses a clear and present danger. Meaning to say, the existence of the organization poses a threat. It will endanger the interest not only of the other students but also of the school. So if this is the nature of an organization, they become a threat to the academic community, then this organization may not be allowed by the school to operate and cannot be recognized as an official organization of the institution. So based on your experience, in your observation, we have certain organizations in the school which are school-related organizations or subject-related organizations. We have English clubs, and for you, students of the BSBA, you have your young entrepreneurs. So these organizations are allowed by the school to operate because by nature, they do not pose a threat to the school and to its students and faculty. Kung ang usa ka organisasyon maghatag og problema or mangbuli o manghasi o magsamok-samok sa mga membro sa academic community sa usa ka eskwelahan, then this is one basis that an organization will not be recognized and allowed to operate inside the school. So only those organizations which purpose is for the development of the skill, the development of the personality of the students will be allowed and recognized by the school to operate inside the campus. So the second point is if the value of the organization runs contrary to the value that is maintained and kept by the institution. So, for example, if the value of that organization is rebellion, they want to rebel against institutions, and that is contrary, no? Kontra na sa unsay gi value sa eskwelahan, because our school instills peace, observance of the law and order, and all these beautiful values. So, because the value of the organization is contrary to the value of the school, then it is a basis, it is a ground to disapprove the operation of such organization inside the school campus. Okay? So, dapat ang organisasyon, whenever an organization applies for acknowledgement or recognition by the institution, its values, no, ang mga butang nga isang gitagaan og balor, no, its philosophy, its purpose must be in accordance and must support the value of the institution of the school. Dili pwede nga mukontra ang value, ang filosofiya sa organisasyon batok sa value or philosophy that is maintained and kept by the university. The third is the school prohibits organizations that oppose the legitimate interest of the school and its students. So, what are the legitimate or what is the legitimate purpose of an institution, a university for that matter? Diba? To deliver instruction, to provide education to the students. So, if there is an organization that will hinder the institution to deliver its legitimate purpose, then that is another ground that an organization may be disallowed to operate. So meaning to say that an organization must be legitimate by itself. Its purposes, its intention, its direction must be in accordance and align to the interest, intentions, and aspirations of the school. Dili mo allow ang usa ka eskwelahan sa usa ka organisasyon to operate kung kini nga ang organisasyon maghatag og problema, maghatag og kagubot sa eskwelahan. So, that is the simple explanation about the third point. And the fourth is, the organization may not be allowed if its purpose and its intention is contrary to the law. Okay? So, there are organizations which purpose is anti-government. No? Naatay mga organisasyon nga dunay plano sa pagpabagsak sa atong nasod, sa atong gobyerno. Dunay mga organisasyon wherein they are trying to campaign and invite young students to participate in their organization, and their main intention is to fight against the government. So their intention is contrary to the law, and the mere fact that their intention is contrary to the law, in fact, ang ilang intensyon is pagpabagsak sa gobyerno, to be a member of the leftist group, no, to be a member of the rebels, then this is one strong point when or where an organization may not be allowed by the school to operate. So those are the four bases or points that will be considered by the school if it is to approve or acknowledge or recognize an institution. If the organization intending to operate in a school does not qualify in any of these or one of these elements or points, then there is no reason that that organization will be recognized by the school, or the student will be encouraged to participate or become a member of this organization. So how about fraternities and sororities? Are they allowed to operate inside the school campus? Well, there have been varied positions pertaining to the existence and operation of fraternities and sororities, because there are universities and colleges in the country that do not allow the operation of these fraternities, but there are also some institutions, universities, that allow the operation of fraternities and sororities. But what really is the stand of the law pertaining to fraternities and sororities? In many cases that have been decided by the U.S. court, the U.S. court has been very persistent in their stand against the operation of fraternities and sororities in school on these two bases. Number one, they subvert the legitimate goal of the schools. Why? When can we say that a fraternity or a sorority subverts the interest or goal of a university? This is because a fraternity has its own goals and objectives. And in many cases, these goals and objectives run contrary against the goals, the values of the institution. When the institution supports the acknowledgement and recognition of human rights, there are many fraternities and sororities that violate human rights. How many students have we heard who died in the hands of fraternity members? No, in the process of their application and acceptance as members of the fraternity, they undergo hazing, and in the process end their lives. So this value of the fraternity runs contrary to the value, to the legitimate goal of the school. So this is one reason why fraternities and sororities are prohibited to operate in schools. The second is, students who are members of these fraternities are constrained to observe the rules and regulations of the school. Why? Because in many instances, fraternities and sororities do have their own culture. No, they are establishing their own culture that will make them distinct and different from the rest of the groups, from the rest of the students inside the campus of the university. And in many instances, their culture go against the culture of the school, go against the established rules and regulations of the school. And the student, in his desire to become a member of that fraternity or that sorority, will, in many cases, sacrifice or waive his intention to obey the school's rules and regulations and rather follow and observe the rules and regulations of the fraternity, even if these rules and regulations are contrary to the rules and regulations of the school. So these are the common reasons why the U.S. courts prohibit the operation of fraternities and sororities in schools. However, here in the Philippines, there are universities and colleges that allow the operation of fraternities and sororities in their campus or in their institution. But there are also those institutions that do not allow or prohibit the operation of these universities. However, the state declares that it is up to the institution to closely regulate the operation of any organizations inside the school campus, including the fraternities and sororities. So it is given, the mandate is given to the universities and institutions whether or not to allow the operation of fraternities inside the campus. But if in case fraternities and sororities are allowed to operate inside the campus, these must be regulated by the institution.